If you have ever closed your eyes during a performance and felt something move inside you, not just emotion, but memory, longing, and pure human connection, then you already know what it feels like to experience Il Volo. Welcome back, beautiful souls, to a space where music is never just sound, it is a story, a heartbeat, a homecoming. Today, we are taking you on a journey through one of the most extraordinary cultural celebrations of 2025. Il Volo's World Tour, a pilgrimage through the ancient and the eternal, from the frescoed halls of Palazzo Te in Mantua to the breathtaking ruins of the Temple of Concordia in Agrigento, Sicily. This is not simply a concert tour. This is a love letter to the world. It began, as all great things do, with a single breath. In Mantua, beneath the painted ceilings of Palazzo Te, a Renaissance palace where gods and giants seemed to lean down from the walls, Gianluca Ginoble stepped into the light. The golden warmth of the stage wash caught the edge of his jaw, and before a single note left his lips, the audience had already fallen still. Fans described the moment as standing at the edge of something vast and holy, unsure whether to breathe or let themselves be swept away entirely. When he opened with a phrase so tender it seemed to dissolve into the frescoes above, many in the audience were seen wiping tears before the first verse had even ended. Did you feel this moment too? Then came the thunder. In Rome, under an open sky bruised violet and gold by the setting sun, Piero Barone unleashed a high note that seemed to shatter time itself. There is a particular kind of silence that follows a tenor at the peak of his power, not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of thousands of people holding the same breath. Viewers around the world shared how this performance stayed with them long after the screen went dark, describing it as the closest thing to a religious experience they had ever felt inside an outdoor amphitheater. The crowd did not erupt into applause immediately. For 3 full seconds, an eternity in a live setting, nobody moved. Then the arena exploded. Ignazio Boschetto, the warm heart of the trio, brought something different to the stage in Naples. Between songs, he did something that his fans have come to treasure above all else. He simply looked out at the crowd, said nothing, and smiled. Not a performer's smile, but a real one, the kind that crinkles the eyes and gives everything away. Fans described the moment as feeling personally seen by him, as though he were singing not to a crowd of thousands but to each person alone. When he launched into a Neapolitan classic that his grandmother used to sing, his voice carried a weight that no rehearsal could have placed there. That tremor of vulnerability, the way his breath caught just before the final note, left the audience in breathless silence, before rising to their feet as one. Have you ever felt music like this before? The kind that doesn't just reach your ears, but finds something you had forgotten was living inside you? Somewhere in Germany, a woman who had traveled from Buenos Aires to see this tour was filmed by a friend in the audience. She didn't know she was being recorded. She stood with both hands pressed over her heart, eyes closed, tears streaming freely down her face, swaying almost imperceptibly. That video was shared hundreds of thousands of times. No caption was needed. In Athens, the trio performed against the glittering backdrop of a city that has witnessed thousands of years of human yearning. Standing before an audience that stretched far into the warm Greek night, all 3 voices joined together in a harmony so perfectly interlocked that it was almost impossible to believe 3 separate human beings were producing it. The tenor voices rose and dove around each other like birds in a thermal, and then, in a moment that has since become one of the most replayed clips from the entire tour, they fell to a near whisper, all 3, together, on a single sustained phrase of devastating beauty. Fans in the front rows reported being unable to stand. Some sat down on the ground where they had been standing, simply overwhelmed. Which city's performance touched you the most? But perhaps the most quietly powerful moment of the entire 2025 tour came not in a grand gesture, but in an unscripted pause. In Milan, during a medley of beloved Italian classics, the audience began to sing along, softly at first, then with growing confidence, then with the full-throated joy of thousands of people rediscovering a melody they had always known. Piero, Gianluca, and Ignazio stepped back from their microphones. They let the crowd carry the song. And in that extraordinary moment, The voices of the audience filling a cathedral-sized concert hall, all three men stood together, arms around each other's shoulders, simply listening. The lighting operator, moved by instinct, slowly brought the stage down to a single warm amber glow. No one directed that moment. It simply happened, as the most beautiful moments always do. And then there was Sicily. The Temple of Concordia at Agrigento. One of the best-preserved Greek temples in the world, standing since the 5th century BC, has witnessed conquerors and pilgrims, poets and wanderers. But on a warm 2025 evening, as the last embers of daylight turned the ancient stone the color of amber and honey, it witnessed something it had perhaps never seen before: 3 young Italians, children of the same soil, standing at its feet and sending their voices upward into the darkening sky. There were no theatrics, no elaborate stage production. Just stone, sky, stars beginning to appear, and the sound of 3 human voices carrying an aria written centuries after the temple was built, yet somehow making it feel as though the music had always been meant for this place. Viewers around the world who watched the broadcast described sitting in their living rooms, alone or with loved ones, and feeling the chills that only come when something truly extraordinary is happening. This was not entertainment. This was history, made quietly, in the sound of 3 men who love what they do. Il Volo's 2025 cultural tribute was more than a world tour. It was a reminder, urgent, beautiful, and necessary, that music is the oldest common language we have. It does not ask for a translator. It does not need a visa. It crosses every border that humans have ever invented for themselves, and it arrives directly in the chest, in the place where we are all the same. From the painted ceilings of the Renaissance to the stones of ancient Greece, from the packed arenas of European capitals to the intimate silence of a crowd holding its breath in the dark, Piero, Gianluca, and Ignazio carried something precious: the proof that 3 voices, raised together in sincerity, can still make the world stop and remember what matters. We would love to hear from you. Which moment from Il Volo's 2025 tour moved you the most? Was it the stillness in Rome, the smile in Naples, or the ancient magic of Agrigento? Leave your story in the comments below. Your words are part of this journey too. If this video touched something in you, please like it and share it with someone who needs to be reminded of the power of music today. And if you haven't subscribed yet, join our community of music lovers from around the world. We are always here, always listening, always grateful for you.